Hello and welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence, and it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean. And happy October month, because
happy October.
Yeah, because it is a Halloweenish month, and Halloween will be at the end of the month. Very exciting. And this is the month where I watch more than usual horror movies. What
have you watched so far?
What have I watched so far? Well, I watched The Final Destination. I watched Friday the 13th Part 4.
Yes.
Or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4.
Yes.
Those are ridiculous. What else did I watch? I watched the one Amityville 4. And that was bad. It was like I expected it needed to have a riff tracks on it.
Oh, okay.
It was that, what the fuck am I watching?
I saw a bit of it. I don't think anything happened in what I was watching. Okay.
No, there's the guy, Tig.
Oh, that's right.
Kim Coates, the actor.
Yeah.
Who's one of those guys who has been acting in everything.
Oh yeah, he was in Smallville.
Right. But the thing is he's really known for
Sons of Anarchy. Yeah.
But he's a
character actor.
Yeah, he's been literally into everything, and he plays this nerd guy. Not a nerd guy. He's wearing glasses, so I guess I call him a nerd. But yeah, it's and they're in a house, and I guess an Amityville type house, or near Amityville, or maybe it is the Amityville house.
Sure.
Why people just don't bulldoze that fucking house?
Well, didn't this have an evil priest altar in the basement? Because it's in the town, but it's not the house.
No, you're right. Okay, so it's in the town, and what happened was there was a priest that was murdered in a confessional, because the house used to be a rectory. And apparently the confessional booths were in the rectory and not in the church.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Instead of, disposing of the confessional booth, they just put it in the basement. Which I didn't know you could do. I didn't know you could just pick up a whole confessional booth and just move it.
Well, no, that's not true, because there's that place, the horror shop place that we went to that one time.
Around Burbank?
No, here in Denver, that they just opened. It was horror.
Horrid?
Yes, Horrid. And in the back by their coffee shop thing is a confessional.
Okay.
That they just picked up and put there.
I'm not very familiar. I'm not very familiar, because I'm usually used to just being confessional booths, just being in-house.
Oh yeah, they are. But I think you can obviously take them and rebuild them somewhere else. Sounds like what they did for this Amityville movie.
I think mine wasn't able to be rebuilt. I think mine was they just stuck them in the church, and that's where they are.
You could still rebuild them. You just take down all the pieces, put them back together.
But there'd just be a hole.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe from a church that's getting decommissioned or whatever.
That's true. Yeah, maybe you get a spare one. I don't know. Yeah. It was interesting. That was the most interesting part of the movie, because the rest of the movie sucked. And then what did I watch Saturday night? I watched a bunch of crap. Oh,
you did. What was that called? It's a one-word title.
What, Coma?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a horror movie. I think I watched it before. Maybe it did. I don't know if I counted that.
Oh, okay.
But I did watch that, and that was just one of those crazy 70s movies. It's Michael Crichton.
Oh, that's right.
Michael Crichton, because I just
doctors and shit.
Yeah. I only thought that Michael Crichton was just Jurassic Park.
Oh no, he's been around for a very long time.
Right. I mean, well, not anymore.
Oh, R.A.P.D. Yes, but I mean, he was around for a very long time.
Right. He did a lot of doctor stuff, and there was a book he wrote about people in comas. Doctors putting healthy people in comas and then taking them to another place and yanking parts out. Yeah,
harvesting their organs to put in other people, or just for the fun of it. I
think it's for the black market, because there's a scene in the movie where they're in a room and somebody in Switzerland needs a kidney.
Sure.
And they're like, hey, wire us the money. Hey, they have a bidding. It's eBay for parts.
Great.
But it's 1977, so it's over the phone.
Oh, okay. So proto dark web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck's in it for like a hot second.
Oh, yeah. Tom Selleck's one of the guys who gets put in a coma. He's literally in it like 5 minutes. Like, he's literally in it for 5 minutes.
He was like, I was playing touch football and I hurt my knee. So I guess I'm getting an operation. It's like,
oh no, coma.
Oh, no, coma. Oh, no. There goes my kidney.
Oh, no, brain dead.
Because later they show him getting operated on. They're yanking out a kid.
That's Tom Selleck before he was big.
Yeah.
Before he was famous. He still had the mustache, so he looks exactly the same.
He was ready.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Selleck was ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it's okay. There was that. But what was the other? I just put the DVD. Like, it was an Italian movie.
Sure.
So I watched this movie. It's called Superstition.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of religious horror by accident.
Nice.
You know,
I love some religious horror.
Because this one's about a house is haunted by a witch, and a guy that works for the church is managing this premises where this house is, and they rent it to a preacher who's a recovering alcoholic. It just starts going down there. The main character at one point does get like a cross that helps him enter the house when it's locked.
Okay.
So he just hits it and the door explodes.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. And then there's also a scene where a priest gets disemboweled by a errant saw blade because a bunch of guys are working in a thing. And because the house is haunted, the guy is like, okay, I'm going to shut off my saw blade. And the saw blade comes flying out and this priest is like, and he gets sawed. Like, it goes through his body and through like a chair. He sits down perfectly in a chair.
Nice.
And it just saws right through his body.
We also watched In a Violent Nature.
Okay, yeah, that counted that one too. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to remember the name of this movie I watched on Shudder. That's like, The Dark and the Wicked.
Oh, that's right.
Which is a Shudder exclusive, and the trailer looked so cool, and like the beginning of the movie was awesome, and then nothing happened. Which was really a bummer because I was like, the atmosphere was great, the beginning was awesome, and then like after 20 minutes, it just kind of fell off.
That's the thing I want to say about Shudder is like Shudder's when it works, it's a fantastic resource, and it's a great to have all those horror movies, but they have a lot of originals, and some of them are pretty good. Some of them are great. They curate stuff from like different countries, like When Evil Lurks. That's
fantastic. If you just FYI, if you have not seen that and you love horror, please see it. That probably was my favorite horror movie of like the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's an Argentinian movie.
Yeah,
and it goes hard. Things. It goes hard, and it goes hard.
Yeah, it's really good. I would say if you do not like gore, do not watch this.
Another quasi-religious movie.
Oh, absolutely, kind of, but it's like they don't really. It's weird. The way they set it up is weird. It's just like it's not like priests and churches. It's just like demons exist. Anyway, continuing.
But I mean, Shudder's great, but it's like sometimes they got so many originals on there.
Yeah.
And you go on like on a Shudder, and like these are all like curated, movies and everything like that. Like people like these are. Some of them are mostly from like up and coming filmmakers.
Yeah.
And I don't watch a ton of the trailers, but you'll read the premises and like I got a bunch on my list and I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. And then it's kind of like what you were just saying, like you go to watch it and you're like, oh, this isn't great.
Yeah, I was really bummed out because I was like, okay, I'm going to check this movie out. Premise sounds cool. I did watch the trailer.
Would you say what the premise was?
So it is this old woman and man living on a ranch out in Texas. And the man is dying. So he's basically in hospice care at this point, but he's at home. And the woman his wife is taking care of him. And they have 2 kids, adults, who are coming back to the farm basically to be there for when their dad passes. But she has been like, do not come here. Just don't, because apparently she was outside and there was some evil that basically is coming for her and the husband. And you see this in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. Like she hangs herself in the barn, and when the kids are there. So now it's like this whole thing where they have to like our mom wasn't religious. What's going on? And you're like, okay, cool. And it's like really moody and atmospheric. And you're like, all right, cool. There's like 3 people in this movie because it was filmed in like a house. But then after that, nothing happened.
What, after the mom hangs herself?
Pretty much. And that's at the beginning. Like I said, that's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Because it happens like at the beginning. But like, it sucks because I was like waiting for all this cool shit to happen and nothing happened.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So right now, just as you walked in, because I was kind of killing some time before you came back from wherever you were, and I put on a movie that I've had in my queue for a while called Transformations. It's a 1989 sci-fi horror movie, and I was explaining it to you, and it has promise because this one's about like a guy who's on a ship and he's just like maintaining the ship.
Okay.
He gets visited by this alien, like this gooey alien, like sneaks on board, and it appears to him as like a sexy Italian woman. Yeah, he thinks he's like, because it was just his birthday, because his space friends called him on AT&T.
Yes.
And they were like, haha, happy birthday. You're going to have a present. You just got to find it on the ship. And right until the girl shows up and he's like, oh, it's a strippergram. But apparently it just turns into a fuckgram.
Sure.
And
send me a fuckgram.
But the whole time he's getting it on, like he's got his eyes closed, and the girl, is on top of him and she's turning into a monster. But then like he wakes up and she's not there.
Yeah.
So he just assumes it was a dream. And then the ship crashes on like a mining colony. So now it's all of a sudden it's like Alien 3. Now I got to this point where like he's on this colony, he wants to get off, but they won't let him. And he's got this lady who likes him. Yeah. And also, by the way, the male lead looks like Barry Manilow.
He does, and he's dressed like it's 1989.
Yeah, he's just like a jerk.
Yeah.
So he's just like Dave Coulier.
Yeah, he 100% is.
Dave Coulier in space, guys. Get ready.
Greetings, guys and ghouls. I'm the Invisible Dan Colon, and this is The Monsters That Made Us. Join Monster Mike Manzi and I on the last Friday of every month as we celebrate all of the spooktacular characters and films in the Universal Studios classic monster series. From the Phantom of the Opera to The Creature Walks Among Us, we sink our teeth into all the gory details as we dissect the films that gave us some of the most iconic movie monsters of all time. The Monsters That Made Us is brought to you by the Cage Club Podcast Network. For more information, head on over to cageclub.me. That's cageclub.me.
So let's talk about our book.
Yeah. What are we reading this week?
We are reading Swamp Thing number 4 from August 1982.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the Saga of Swamp Thing number 4. And this is the series that eventually goes on to have like Alan Moore run and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also like around the time, like just before or just after the Swamp Thing movie comes out. The Wes Craven one, which I need to rewatch because I've only seen it like maybe once. So they revived it, and they're just doing some cool horror shit in these books.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because I wanted to start with issue number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had it at some point, but I think I might have got rid of it, or might have just let go of it. And it had him fighting vampires.
Oh man.
I was like, that sounds really interesting. I wish I could read that, but I can't. And so we're going to settle for the next issue, which is him versus a child killing demon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm interested to see what you think of this book, because I
have some thoughts about this book, and actually it's because there's a little note at the very end that I don't know if you caught.
I did.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about it when we get there, because I was like, oh.
Yikes.
Yowza.
Well, it's not really. I mean, it's not like it's in poor taste. I don't think it's in poor taste.
I don't either, but I think it's weird.
It's weird.
Okay.
It's kind of like.
It's weird for this Swamp Thing book.
It's kind of like the end of Rambo 3, where it's like this is dedicated to the men fighting in Afghanistan.
What is it? The brave Mujahideen or whatever the
Mujahideen.
I think that's it. I don't remember exactly what it is.
The brave men fighting on Arrakis.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, what is going on with this movie? Yes, it's basically like that.
Hey, I'm in Arrakis. Look at all this to do. Look at these sandworms. I'm going to shoot with an exploding arrow. That's the crossover I need. Yeah. Anyways, the cover of this book is Swamp Thing squaring off against a demon who is
coming out of a smoking
body, and in the background there's a bunch of pictures of these kids who were murdered.
Murdered children.
And I do like, and it's kind of follows. It's like this in the next in the main page too. But there's this picture of this kid who's he's looking very pointedly at Swamp Thing. Can you see this?
No, which one am I looking at?
The Asian kid. Right by Swamp Thing's head.
Oh, he is. He's giving him a side eye.
He's giving him a side eye.
I don't know if he's looking at the demon or Swamp Thing, but whoever he's looking at, he's giving him side eye.
I think he's just kind of like, what are you guys doing?
What the fuck's going on over there?
And then when you get to like the next page, like he's also here too. Like he's doing the same thing.
Kid's giving side eye.
I like the consistency.
It's good. It is good.
So the story is called In the White Room, which we'll find out reason why. But in Pinesboro, Arkansas, they found like the body of like an 8-year-old kid who was not just murdered, but eviscerated and mutilated.
Yeah.
So it is gnarly. And this is like the 12th murder.
Yeah. Killing a bunch of children.
Yeah. And now this news reporter, she's Liz Tremaine.
Now,
I think it's.
Is she like Swamp Thing's like main squeeze?
No, that's Abby.
Okay.
That's Abby Arcane.
Is this woman in these books a lot?
She hangs around for a bit.
Okay.
She hangs around for most of this run before what's his face takes over.
Alan Moore
takes over. Like she kind of pops up, and then she pops up maybe like a few like after he leaves. Because basically what happened was Alan Moore came in and just nuked everything.
Right.
And was like, Swamp Thing is no longer a man that was covered in chemicals in a swamp. Swamp Thing is a plant that thinks it was a man that just happened to start thinking it was a man when that man dove into the swamp covered in chemicals.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it now that he's just like an avatar for the planet?
Yeah, he's an avatar for the green because it's like, it's like, I don't know if it's still like this, but Animal Man, when they brought him back for the New 52, he was the avatar for the red, which was like the lifeline to all the animals.
Sure.
And Swamp Thing is that to all the plants.
Right. But he was never at least in that origin, he was never a man. He's just
the New 52 origin?
I think so.
That I don't know.
I don't
know entirely. I should probably.
I don't know if that origin is still in play. I have no clue. I haven't read Swamp Thing in a long time.
They could have just melded it or something. Cause I feel like it's been retconned a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, granted, the New 52 was so long ago.
Yeah.
And, so
the whole relaunch and it didn't go well.
Yeah. And so he's probably been rebooted a bunch of times. Now he's just a guy who just covered in dirt.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Sure.
Or as I enjoy him on Harley Quinn, he's just a guy in a man bun.
Oh, that's right.
He lives in the swamp and he's like a hippie.
That's right. And he's dating like Nora Freeze or whatever. Do you remember that?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because Nora Freeze, they take Nora Freeze down, like her.
Pamela and Ivy and Harley. And for some reason they take Nora and I don't remember why. And like, he's just like some dude bro.
Some dude bro, yeah. And she kind of gets all like wild with him.
Oh yeah, no, she totally like bangs him and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
She goes full Heather Locklear in that second movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyways, this news reporter, this Liz, talks to this victim's sister.
Yeah.
And she goes, they captured somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They got him. What do you think they should do to him? And she's like, they should put him in a white room with nothing but pictures on the walls of all the kids he killed. And he should just be in there for the rest of his life.
I feel like this is like pre us knowing a lot about true crime, because that would just like be a trophy wall for a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, I know. He'd be like, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And just like literally relive it all the time. It's like, you can't do that. But I understand the impulse.
Apparently, as we'll find out, this is like a real thing that's in this. I guess it's implied that this is a real thing that's in this police station.
What, this like random room?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they put apparently they do put this guy in this white room.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're back to, I think we're in the newsroom.
Yeah.
In the news station. And
this lady's got a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. This lady's got some thoughts. I mean, are you able to sum this up? Because there's a lot of talking here.
I don't know, because she has a lot, like every time she's on the panel, her monologue is like insane.
She's kind of the mind that
children should see violent things so they don't think the world is good.
Right.
Is basically what it boils down to. Because I don't think that's here, but I think that's like a couple pages.
It's towards the end.
Yeah.
But she does kind of, because the police come in here, they don't want to like have national press because they don't want to be like a circus in this town.
Oh, yeah. So I think what she's also talking about is they're in this newsroom that I think took over the offices of a guy who was like a Mr. Rogers.
He was Mr. Rogers, Uncle Barney's Good Neighbor Hour.
And apparently he was the killer.
Well, we find out that.
But she's like, you should never have that guy on TV. He really sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad he's gone.
They don't know that he's a killer.
Right.
Here.
But she's just like, she didn't like him anyway. And so she's really glad he's no longer on the network. And now they're in his old offices. this news station.
Yeah, but there's a police officer here, and he's like, I don't want all these
like national media.
National news here.
Good fucking luck, man.
And so then we jump to see what Swamp Thing's doing.
Yes.
And Swamp Thing.
He's on a truck.
He's on a truck. He's riding in a truck bed filled with watermelons.
Yeah. He's carrying a watermelon. So he's like riding along, and this is
because this is before
he's still a man who's been covered in chemicals at this point.
We're still fleshing out Swamp Thing, so he doesn't quite realize that, at least it's not shown here, that he could travel anywhere where there's plants.
That's probably not a thing yet.
No, because they kind of do it in the movie where he gets blown up.
Sure.
And he in the second one, and he like turns into goo and just goes into the tub and forms there.
Yeah.
But now he's just like, well, I'm walking so slow because I am gigantic Swamp Thing.
Right.
And
I am lumbering.
I will just sit in the back of this truck
with these watermelons.
Yeah. And so what he's doing is he's following after this girl. This
little girl who's mute.
Yeah.
And I forget what her name is.
Casey.
He feels connected to her for some reason.
Right. They found this abandoned girl, and she's mute, and they're doing a new story on an abandoned girl who's mute.
And Swamp Thing, for some reason, feels like he has some sort of attachment to her and can tell where she is and all that sort of stuff.
He's having like these psychological, like sometimes something goes in his brain, because we just hear him talking a lot in his thoughts, but he could speak at this point, but he speaks very labored, and it's difficult for him to speak
because he's covered in moss.
Because he's covered in swamp.
Yeah.
But then he falls out of this truck. Yeah,
which is actually very funny.
Because he's like, get out of here anyway.
It hits a bump, and him and some watermelons go flying.
He takes literally a bump.
Yeah.
Out of this watermelon truck. So he goes to this. He's in this county correctional center for kids where they're keeping this girl.
Okay.
And she is watching this weird Uncle, whatever that guy's name was. Yeah.
Bucky.
Uncle Bundy?
Uncle
Bundy. I like Uncle Bundy. Uncle Barney. Uncle Barney. And I think it's crazy. What I think is crazy about this is that his song that he sings here, it's not just like a kid's song. It's like it reminds me of Death to Smoochy.
Yes.
And Edward Norton as Smoochy. And there's like a point where he's singing about like the cookies and about how they're organic. It kind of feels like that.
Yeah. That movie's fucking crazy.
That movie's awesome.
I love that movie.
No, it's good.
I have loved that movie since I saw it in the theater. I realized I saw it in the theater and everybody's like, this movie's terrible. And I was like, this movie's hilarious.
No, not enough people talk about that movie.
No, you should appreciate it more.
It's Edward Norton and
fucking Robin Williams.
Robin Williams just
being Robin Williams.
Talking about, he's like, look at this cookie. It's a cock. It's a cock.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
He's great. And like Danny DeVito's a scuzzy guy.
Like, William the Twins or something.
William the Twins. The Twin Berries. The William
the Twins. It's a cock.
He's awesome in that movie.
Oh, it's so funny.
So we're with this girl, and she escaped from this place by using her magneto powers to rip open the window of bars on it.
Bars and stuff. So she just leaves.
Well, here's the deal with this girl.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say she ends up being the Antichrist.
Oh, great.
Like later towards the end of this run.
Why is Swamp Thing hanging out with the Antichrist? Why is he connected to the Antichrist?
Because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's why that's what the problem is with Swamp Thing. A lot of times you're just like, why is he doing this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I was really looking forward to it, but unfortunately I feel like it'd be too heady for us, at least not at the moment. There's a Swamp Thing. I have a Swamp Thing trade, but it's for like the Swamp Thing from like the late 80s.
Sure.
There's a lot of like weird, like metaphysical stuff. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But there is an issue in this trade, and I don't know the context of it because I need to read it.
Yeah.
But it's just Superman's in it.
Uh-huh.
And he's doing something with Swamp Thing. But at some point, there's a panel which it's just a woman slapping Superman and just saying, I heard what you said.
I really want to know what he said.
I need to know. I need to find out what he said.
Probably something terrible. Maybe he's been infected with some sort of colored kryptonite.
Oh, maybe that is. It's like, oh no, the swamp kryptonite has gotten to me. And you could have a Swamp Thing who's like, hey, I found this rock, Superman. He's like, no, now I'm just going to say weird things.
Yeah, now he's a fucking creep. I don't know. It's creep kryptonite. I don't know. Creep-tonight. So
Uncle Barney is in this prisoner room with the white room with the kids' pictures, and he's talking to this demon
that like possesses him,
because there was a demon that was possessing him, and he's like, no, I'm not a bad person. And he's like, well, this demon's like,
still killed all those kids. You still
killed those kids. And, you know, I wanted you to, but your body did it.
Is this the part where he's like, yeah, I wanted you to do that, but you got a taste for it and you liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we find out later that it wasn't by accident that this demon found him.
Right.
So we do see this, you know, like a flashback to this kid, like kind of like how he, you know, like he gets caught or whatever. But this kid, you know, we find him like on the street corner. Some kid's like running home, and he's like, "Hey, let me walk you home, kid," because it's like midnight and this kid's out.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you know, you shouldn't be out." Blah blah blah. But because he's this TV star.
Which, by the way, his real name is like Barney Stryker.
Oh, that's right.
With a Y?
It is Stryker with a Y. So like, because like they all trust him because he has like be a good neighbor and da 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 da, and that's his TV show. So all these kids, even though they've been warned against, you know, talking to strangers, they don't think he's a stranger because he's the guy on TV.
No, he's just a good dude.
Yeah, but he's not. He kills a kid in an alley.
And the cops catch him, and since the demon is trapped in his body and he can't go out and kill kids,
right?
The demon decides to immolate this guy from within.
Yeah, he just turns into dust.
It just turns him into like ash.
Yeah, R.I.P. to that guy.
It's pretty. It's not graphic, but it's just pretty wild stuff.
Yeah,
it's just,
so he can leave.
And this is where they're supposed to be the arraignment, but it's postponed.
Because they don't want to tell anybody that this guy's dead.
This guy's dead because like the police officer is like, or you know, the whatever the detective's like, he's like, unforeseen circumstance.
Yeah. He turned into ash.
We can't say what it was, but it just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, he says a change in the disposition of the subject may result in the charges being dropped. It's like, yeah, because he's not alive.
Yeah, he's not alive. You can't prosecute a dead person. But
they can't also like say, he was like, well, he was in this white room with a bunch of pictures, you see, and we came in and he was burned to a
I mean, like,
crisp.
what are you supposed to say? Like, it's not like you can be like, well, we found it, you know, we found him dead in his cell like Jeffrey Epstein. Like he, you know, whatever. Because he's literally a pile of ash. So what are you like, spontaneous human combustion? Like, is that like, come on.
The trail of this demon, this, you know, he's like a wisp in the wind.
Yeah.
And he jumps into this producer that's with Liz, this guy, I forgot what his name is. But now we jump back to Swamp Thing. I don't know exactly where he is. Like, he just found his way. Are they on a bridge at this point? Yeah, he's at a bridge. It looks like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, it's a big old bridge. I don't exactly know where they're supposed to be, but he's on this bridge.
Well, he's supposed to where there was this girl escaped.
Right. But then, like, doesn't the demon show up in like a car?
The Swamp Thing's tracking down this girl, and he's being tugged, he says. Tugging.
Yeah.
But there's some sort of telepathic lock.
Yeah.
Because for reasons.
Yeah,
because this girl's the Antichrist, and she's like, hey, Swamp Thing, come hang out.
Right.
I got to talk to you. But then this producer demon shows up, and he's like, hey, little girl, you're just in this random parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm a demon.
Right.
So come with me. The girl who's the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Because she's the Antichrist, she doesn't fear this demon.
Of course not. Yeah.
So.
But doesn't the demon know she's the Antichrist?
I don't think so. Maybe he's in a different part of hell. Maybe he's like, you know.
Well, what, is it a different neighborhood?
He didn't. Yeah, he's a different neighborhood. He didn't get, you know, he's on the email chain.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see how that would happen.
He's on the AOL.
Yeah, AOL. Instant Messenger, yeah.
But Swamp Thing sees it, and guy's about to like threaten her with a knife. He's threatening her with a knife.
Yeah.
And Swamp Thing's like, no, it's the guy that's killing kids. And he jumps on this car.
Oh, that's right. He like jumps onto this car, which that's a very funny drawing of him jumping.
Swamp Thing doing
any sort of physical
anything, like Swamp Thing doing anything like jumping or whatever. It's just weird.
He looks like a Wookiee jumping.
Yeah, it pretty much miles.
He's a green Wookiee jumping. Imagine Chewbacca doing a flying leap onto something, and that is how hilarious this is.
Imagine Chewbacca doing a backwards flip off of the Millennium Falcon onto Jabba the Hutt.
That'd be so funny.
But just imagine his whole body doing that.
I know, and all that fucking hair just blowing in the wind as he does it.
And also, like, he's 7 feet tall,
Yes.
so it's not saying that 7 feet tall people can't do, backflips.
No, but you need to be up high if we're going to do that.
Right. So it's just weird to see it. But so Swamp Thing is on top of this car, and he gets stabbed with a knife, and he falls off.
Uh-huh.
This is where we kind of learn about how the demon came to be.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bernard. Yeah, no, Barney. That's right,
Barney,
Bernard.
yeah.
Barney Stryker. Those two words don't go together.
It's weird, right?
Those two names don't go together. So we see him getting yelled at by his boss, saying that the Patsy Pig cartoons are too violent.
Yeah.
And he's like, but my producer told me to
is
play
that
them.
like the itchy and scratchy cartoons in the middle of fucking Krusty? Is that that's what I'm imagining?
I'm trying to figure out how that's so violent.
I don't know. Maybe she's putting another pig in the moon or something, or whatever the fuck Scratchy does.
Maybe was it Peppa? What's his name? Peppa Pig. Patsy Pig is like putting like her. It's not Porky Pig. It's like Picky Pig.
Okay.
And she's like cooking him
for
the other for the rest of the non union equivalents of the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So you got like Bags Bunny and Dummy Duck and all them. They're all sitting there
Duck.
and they're all about to eat Picky Pig.
Yeah.
So Barney's upset. So immediately goes home and turns to the devil.
That's right. He decides he's like upset because he doesn't like his producer and he feels like he's getting walked all over. So he goes home and he's like, you know what I should do? An occult ritual.
Yeah, right.
That'll make me feel better. So that's
we get,
what he does.
There's kind of, I guess, because he's being walked over so much that he's kind of had this interest in occult. He's dabbled a little bit. Maybe he's read a few books.
Mm-hmm.
He's checked out the Satanic Bible on the library a few times.
Yeah, a couple times.
He saw Aunt LaVey in concert.
Oh, absolutely.
He stood in the back. Nobody really saw him.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't want to be recognized as the guy from TV, but I do want to see Anton LaVey.
Yes.
Or I want to see.
Well, I don't know if anybody would have cared. The rich and famous hung out with Anton LaVey all the time.
That's true. Or he went to go see like Black Sabbath or Judas Priest. He played a few records backwards.
Oh, absolutely.
He tried a few. It didn't always work. He's doing like Aerosmith backwards and Van Halen.
Aerosmith's not going to tell you anything.
No, it's just going to tell you to like have sex.
Yeah.
But backwards.
Backwards sex.
In an elevator, but the elevator's going up.
No, it's going down.
No, it's going up because the elevator's going down.
In the song? That was going up. I just love it in an elevator.
Loving an elevator.
Giving it up as we're going down?
See, you're going down.
Oh, so yeah, now he's going up.
So now he's going up. The elevator's going back. Look, if you play Pump backwards, the elevator goes up.
There you go.
That's a little tip for you.
All the way to the top.
All the way to the top. So he gets all possessed.
Yeah.
And he comes into work with
a hot babe.
A babe just walking. That's what happens when you get confidence, because he's like, oh, I gave him confidence and charisma and self-esteem. And it's like immediately to depict that, you just show up with a hot girl.
What happens?
So yeah, now we see him to present, and he's like, I want to go into your body.
Yes.
Swamp Thing. Now that you just happen to be here, but here's a good idea. I'm going to go in your body.
Yeah.
Now this is where this woman has there's a whole page here of just.
This is her rant where she goes on like this huge thing, but basically it's like, we shouldn't show children these happy kids shows like Mr. Rogers or whatever, because then they grow up thinking that the world is a good place and that makes them targets. But the world is a bad place. We need to make sure that we tell children that the world is a bad place so they stay away from bad people. And I'm like, I guess? Question mark? I don't
Question mark?
What? I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but okay, lady.
Yeah, so he it's a lot in there, and
it's a lot. She goes on like a full page like rant, like blocks of text.
We're trying to make a point. We're saying something in Swamp Thing
we do actually say something in this book.
We do actually,
which is weird.
Swamp Thing somehow said a lot of things.
Apparently,
this book did. I mean, because once Alan Moore came on, like a lot of things were said.
Well, it's Alan Moore. A lot of things are always said.
Yeah. Yeah. So Swamp Thing follows this guy, the demon and the girl to the slaughterhouse. Also, again, here's Swamp Thing doing athletics, jumping through a window.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just weird. It's just weird seeing Swamp Thing like being super mobile.
Just doing anything is weird.
Swamp Thing gets jobbed out right away.
Mm-hmm.
He's just this guy, this demon, because he's in this human body, but he's super strong.
Right.
He's in this, he's got devil strength. But now he's like, well, maybe I can be in Swamp Thing's body. So he puts Swamp Thing, like he picks up his whole body.
Yeah.
And just hangs him on like a
hook. Oh, yeah. He puts him like through a hook. Too.
Like he does like the full like Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing.
Yeah. Through a fucking hook.
Yeah. And the hook just goes completely through him.
Well, he's a plant.
Because he's just dense moss material.
Yeah. I assume Swamp Thing smells.
Oh, yeah. He reeks.
He has to, right?
Yeah. He smells like everything and nothing.
It's very smells a lot like dirt. There's probably some rot in there. It also smells like water, but like stagnant water.
But it also, in some ways, it might smell good.
No, I think this is kind of.
You probably can control that.
I don't know. This is a good question because if he's swampy, it probably doesn't smell good. Stagnant water doesn't smell good.
No, I mean, there's probably a lot of stagnant moisture in that body.
Yeah, and there's moss and there's, I don't know, fungus. I don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, usually a lot of times when you look at Swamp Thing, sometimes he just looks like he's got like roots in him.
Yeah.
And then other times like he might have like other pieces of flora and fauna in him.
Yeah, he probably smells damp.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Damp thing.
Damp thing.
So I got this wrong a little bit here, but the demon wants to go into the girl's body.
Oh, that's right.
Because the girl is, he senses her being, he's the Antichrist, but he just knows she's powerful and he's trying to make it work. And he's about to kill the demon's about to kill this girl or sacrifice this girl.
But also use her body. I don't know how that works.
Or maybe he just wants to kill her because she's super strong. I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't really thought it through. Let's just go with that.
Swamp Thing, in turn, he's like, take me.
Yes.
He manages to say, take me. And then the demon is like,
okay.
This is when the demon's like, oh, man, that does look pretty good.
I don't mind being a plant.
I could deal with this. Yeah. I can deal with this. And he leaps out of his body and he jumps into, or he just starts fighting Swamp Thing.
Right.
Because something happens where
this is Swamp Thing. He comes off the hook.
No. What happens? He goes into Swamp Thing's body, but the hook, the producer, as the demon leaves the body, he falls into this lever that starts this
that's right.
hook going into the freezer.
Yes.
And Swamp Thing, however, keeps him occupied in his body long enough to go into the freezer and kill this demon because it's very cold in there.
He is used to hot.
Yeah, but apparently, I guess this immediately just dissipates this demon.
And then he's gone.
Now the next day, the police and the reporters are at the slaughterhouse. They're taking Swamp Thing away on a stretcher, which is funny. Did you see that? Yeah, but what are they going to do with him? So Liz says, because Liz...
Where do you take him? You take him to a fucking greenhouse? Can't take him to a hospital.
Not quite. They're going to take him to a place called the Sunderland Corporation, which we'll learn more about next issue. Great. Don't give things to corporations. Because I think what it is... It's only going to be nefarious. Is that this reporter works for the station that is owned by this Sunderland Corporation, which is kind of like Raytheon Industries kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Evil corporate. Yeah, and she's like, hey, maybe we could take Swamp Thing over there, see what the deal is, because he's badly injured. He has frostbite and burns, like 3rd-degree burns. And I guess also, too, she's been reporting on like swamp men, the bayou or whatever. Yeah. So there's been reports of a swamp man, walking around. Yeah, I don't know what's going on down there. Yeah. And then we just end with this girl, the first victim's sister, is just watching TV. They've replaced, because also, another thing too was the Liz Tremaine wanted to replace the kids show with like her magazine, right, like with lots of like issues and stuff to talk about, but they insisted on. What I don't understand is why they fight for the same time slot. I don't know. That kids show's probably on at like 11 o'clock on a Thursday. Yeah, you want your thing to be on like in the 7 afternoon p.m. or 7 p.m. if you can get it. Yeah, that's what you want. You wanted like a primetime slot. Like, why are you fighting over kid TV time? Yeah, no, it's like Sunday morning at 7. Yeah, man. Like, what are you doing? So they replace him with
a lady,
Aunt Polly.
Yes.
And then I don't quite understand this ending.
Yeah.
Where the girl doorbell rings or whatever. The mother's like, answer the door. And she's like, okay, just come in, whoever. And they're acting like it's, I don't know what we're supposed to imply here. Like, is this girl being like captured? I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird ending.
Yeah.
But this is where at the bottom.
Yeah. This is what I saw at the bottom. And I was like, wait.
They say, to the good people of Atlanta, that they may put the horror behind them, but not forget.
And the second I read that, I was like, oh, we're literally talking about the Atlanta child murders. And I Googled it just to make sure.
I think they just caught this guy.
They did, because it was like 1979 to 1981.
Right.
And they had just caught the guy who did it. So this is a response to that.
Yeah. Like whenever this book was being, written and eventually printed.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, let's throw that in there.
Yeah. We got to say something about this.
We got to say something about that. And that's probably like an inspiration for this book as well. Obviously, with the child murders. But yeah, so if you can look up the Atlanta child murders on your own.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's fucked up shit.
It's really fucked up.
But next issue, the screams of the hungry flesh.
Oh, all right.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
I don't know where we're going to head with that. I don't think I've read that one yet, but I look forward to it. There's also, and I didn't realize this but there's a backup story because we're still fleshing this book out. But we got Phantom Stranger.
Our buddy Phantom Stranger.
Phantom Stranger, we're not have to spend too much time on this because it is a backup.
Mm-hmm.
But Phantom Stranger in the Hospital of Fear, which that's awesome.
It is actually. Sounds like a haunted, like if you were going to do a haunted hospital.
Yeah. But it's not really the hospital.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's not really a hospital. It's just, there's a doctor that is doing shit.
Well, maybe he's haunted.
Well, he kind of is.
Yeah.
So, Phantom Stranger, basically, okay, a girl gets into a car accident and she's in really bad shape.
Phantom Stranger has nothing else to do but like follow people around.
He just shows up. Well, there's kind of a thing where he shows up and he has a nemesis here. Did we learn about?
Sure.
I didn't know he had a rogues gallery. I think it's just one guy.
I didn't think he did. I thought he just sort of popped up randomly.
Pretty much he does, but I think
just to dispense wisdom and then fucking disappear.
That's what he did in Shadow Pact, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean that's what
he did. A few magic things and just kind of waited.
Yeah,
that's all he did.
Because he's not a human. He's not a person. He's some sort of being. He's an otherworldly being that kind of just floats around.
You'll show up at Guy Gardner's restaurant opening.
Yeah,
and then just leave.
He doesn't know. I mean, he's like, somebody could choke on a chicken bone, and I got to make sure I dispense advice.
But not help.
I
can't do the Heimlich.
Oh, no. I can't get involved. I could just tell you because I can't interfere being the Phantom Stranger. I
could just go over and be like, wow, that sucks. I'm Phantom Stranger. Goodbye.
Either that or just be like, perhaps you should not consume the chicken.
Maybe you shouldn't eat so fast. What are you? You are not a duck. Do you want to be?
Yeah,
or whatever.
Exactly. He's got to give you wisdom.
Don't eat your food so fast.
I am of the mind that Phantom Stranger, and I don't actually remember from Shadow Pact or this, I don't think he should speak in contractions. I think it should be like, do not, like, cannot, like, you know what I mean? He cannot do contractions. He has to be formal.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing a cape and a fedora. I just want to point that out.
He is kind of the prototype for the men's rights.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a cape and a fedora.
Well, he's kind of like the both there because you got the fedora for the douchebags, but then you got a cape for like the nerds.
Yeah,
which actually kind of that's a Venn diagram that does kind of cross in some ways.
100% it does.
So he's kind of the internet.
He is the internet. The worst part of the internet.
He is the worst part. Wow.
Sorry, Phantom Stranger.
Wow. You guys.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Tell
Phantom Stranger, the patron saint of the internet.
Patron saint of 4chan.
Oh, Jesus. Patron saint of Reddit.
Phantom Reddit. Yeah, Phantom Reddit.
Elon Musk is going to walk out wearing that outfit next time you see him.
That's right. I am Phantom Stranger.
That'd be so...
You are pedophile.
He gets out of the fucking... the Cybertruck 2.0 wearing a fucking cape and a fedora, and you're like, what is going on here?
When they put that rocket into space, was he on that rocket just kind of like, hey guys?
Yes. When he put a car into space, it was a guy dressed like Phantom Stranger.
Just want to talk. I just want to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yep.
Phantom Stranger.
Yep.
Oh man. Anyways, girl gets into an accident and there's a doctor that's going to operate on her.
Yep.
And this doctor is like, he's doing his thing and it's not going well.
Yeah.
But then he's like, hey, I do some mystical shit. I'm kind of like Doctor Strange, but like I didn't need to break my hands.
Right. I didn't need to get in a car accident to be able to be a wizard.
I just need other people to get into car accidents.
Yeah.
So that I could become a Doctor Strange.
I need to do wizard shit.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
So he touches a talisman and the girl becomes better, you know, or whatever. She's not better, but she is
not dead.
On recovery.
Yeah.
And this guy's doctor's name is Frederick Rune.
Oh, yeah.
Rune. Rune.
Yeah, I'm sure your last name is really Rune.
Yeah. But then this girl recovers and she just leaps out of a window.
Oh, that's right. She just gets up and just keeps walking and then just jumps right out a window.
Well, she passes by a bunch of like different people. She passes by these two orderlies.
Yeah.
And it's weird though, because she's dressed in like a hospital gown, but she's also dressed like a nurse in a way.
And
I don't know. It's weird. So it's not like people are like, hey, Miss Patient, go back into your room.
yeah.
But so these two orderlies see her. The one guy's like, hey, look at that cutie. And the other guy's like, hey, doll, what are you doing tonight? And she just says nothing. And one guy's like, yeah, she iced you like a glacier. And the other guy just goes, go take a flying leap, witch.
And she does.
And then she does.
Man.
She just goes into another person's room and just jumps out of the window. But Phantom Stranger is there for the save.
Yeah, but he's just standing there like waiting to catch her, like he's trying to catch somebody jumping off the top rope.
Oh yeah. He's trying to catch a lucha. He's doing lucha libre here.
100%.
It's not Phantom Stranger doing luchas. He brings this woman back.
It is a very funny drawing that he's just like standing like 3 stories down with his arms in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you took it out of context, you might think he's breakdancing.
He does look like he is raising the roof. As one used to do.
So Phantom Stranger puts this woman back to bed and the doctor's there and he's like, hey doctor, you saved her with like your mystic ruin or your talisman. Where'd you get it? And he's like, and the doctor's like, eat shit, Phantom Stranger. And he just disappears. And Phantom Stranger just disappears.
Yeah. He's like, all right.
He calls in the orderly's like, hey, get rid of this man. He's like, there's nobody here because Phantom Stranger just disappeared. Like a ghoul that he is.
Yep.
And then he's talking to, there's like a evil, who's this guy? What is this deal here? Somebody killed his uncle?
Which one?
I'm confused here. Oh no, so apparently according to this villain that Phantom Stranger, I forgot this guy's name, it's like Tamarind or Tanarak.
Okay.
He's the one that supplied this doctor with this thing.
Oh, the talisman.
And the reason why is because apparently at some point Phantom Stranger was responsible for this doctor's uncle's death.
Okay.
Broderick Rune.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's kind of like the heat is on.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor's like, yeah, well, this girl that I saved, like she's kind of like a vegetable now.
Wait, the one who jumped out the window?
Yeah.
Why is she a vegetable?
I don't know.
I thought Phantom Stranger caught her.
No, she's just in general a vegetable because she was treated by this guy using the mystic stuff.
And she just randomly jumped out a window.
Yeah, he's just like,
it gets very confusing because I honestly I was reading this and falling asleep at the same time, and it was very difficult for me to go back and read what was going on because there's like a lot of shit happening. So, but
this is when Phantom Stranger shows up. He starts fighting this. He almost gets like chokeslammed. Actually, gets kind of chokeslammed here by a demon. Because he senses these mystic energies, and he finds out that it's his old nemesis Tanarak. This Tanarak guy has jars of souls.
Nice.
So he's got this girl's soul in it.
I want a jar of souls.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get on that.
And then he straps Phantom Stranger to a table, and he's about to do something to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
what
if he's gonna get surgery on him, but the Phantom Stranger just leave whenever he wants. I assume.
Yeah, he can just like dissipate, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's the thing. It's only like a backup, but and I know I probably should be able to explain it better.
Yeah,
but at the same time, even if I were to explain it better, I feel like it wouldn't make any sense.
No, I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. We're just like, we need something.
Well, it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
but it's kind of also like weird. It's weird to read.
Yes.
In a way. I don't know.
Yeah, it is bizarre. I agree.
It is bizarre. So the letters pages here, it's called Swamp Things.
Uh-huh.
But this is before they even got any letters. So they're just kind of talking about like the artists.
We're only like issue 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they haven't gotten any letters yet. So they just kind of wax poetic about the artists and whoever you'll be working on the book. And that's the issue of Swamp Thing number 4, August 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you think of this Swamp Thing so far? Because I know you're not. I'm a big fan of Swamp Thing.
I enjoy Swamp Thing. I think this is an odd issue because it's trying to deal with the Atlanta child murders and say something about them.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird place for this book to go. Or sort of Swamp Thing in general to go.
But it doesn't really feel that out of place as you see throughout the 80s and the 90s where it kind of goes.
Sure. I know. No, I think this sort of, whenever we deal with like, we're talking about real shit in comics, it gets a little weird when we're trying to say something, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to send a message.
Yeah.
It can get a little weird. And I feel like this is one of those gets a little weird. Yeah. Especially because we give this journalist like this huge fucking like pages long monologue.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's a little bit of an odd book.
It is odd. It is odd. That's going to be it for this week's show. Thank you for listening. Find us on YouTube. Angry Hero 79 is my channel. Or just search us search Worst Collection Ever on YouTube and find the playlist of all the shows. Subscribe to that playlist and get updated episodes every week as they drop. Also, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. Please rate and review. And find us on our socials. You know what they are. And you'll join us next week, I guess. I assume you'll join us next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
You want to hear about Swamp Thing and whatever he's doing. Maybe he gets to hang out with this Antichrist. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be rad. But again, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.